This is the weekly rundown, where we cover rig counts, oil prices, and trending news for the week. And I'm your host, Greg Williams. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever in the world you may be listening. I am your host, Greg Williams, and this is the weekly rundown. On Thursday this past week, U.S. President Joe Biden announced the biggest ever release of oil from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve, or commonly known as SPR, 180 million barrels over 6 months. The White House had a statement on it. After consultation with allies and partners, the president will announce the largest release of oil reserves in history, putting 1 million additional barrels on the market per day, on average every day, for the next 6 months. The scale of this release is unprecedented. The world has never had a release of oil reserves at this 1 million per day rate for this length of time. This record release will provide a historic amount of supply to serve as a bridge until the end of the year when domestic production ramps up. I'm sure that if there's anyone in the United States, you understand how our domestic production is going. Anyway, in tandem, the United Kingdom said it is set to join the United States in the latest round of releases from strategic petroleum reserves as the Western allies and the International Energy Agency seek to lower oil prices and ensure enough supply globally in the wake of the Russian war in Ukraine. Okay, so that's kind of our hot stuff in the market right now. So let's move over into our articles for this week. To kick things off, by the way, our sponsors for this segment of the show are Cleargistics. We'll share more on them here later. Exxon comes up dry on Cutthroat. Been a lot of hype about this well. Even as early as last week, Murphy came out and said there was as much as 1 billion barrels there. But sad to say, the Brazilian oil company, Inwata, said no hydrocarbons were found at Cutthroat, for which they are partners with Exxon and Murphy. So it was a duster, but better luck next time. Transocean buys into Ocean Minerals. Transocean announced that it has purchased a minority interest in Ocean Minerals Limited, a company engaged in the exploration of seabed resources containing metals critical to the growing renewable energy market. Let's see. They are working with the technology and services that will be required to collect nodules from the seabed upon receipt of a production license. The Cook Inlets is one of the several offshore locations worldwide with large accessible deposits of nodules containing a high content of these critical minerals. Responsible recovery of the nodules would provide additional supply required to support growing demand. Ocean mining. I'm sure the environmental groups will love that. But you can only build so many batteries out of what we have on the surface. May as well go in the sea and look for it as well. Constellation gets a green flag from their creditors. Constellation reported that an amendment to its judicial recovery plan was unanimously approved by its creditors. In a statement, the company stated the payment conditions and restructuring measures indicated will only come in force after the confirmation order issued by the First Business Court of Rio de Janeiro. The company operates 8 offshore drilling rigs, 2 of which are anchored semi-submersibles for operation in water depths of up to 1,100 meters, 3 with dynamic positioning for operations in water depths up to 2,700 meters, and 3 drill ships for operations in water depths of up to 3,000 meters. So a bit about Cleargistics. They are the team that is intelligently connecting the field to the office. They provide smart, value-driven solutions to maximize their customers' investment. If you have a process that is being slowed down or hampered by paper, then this is the team you need to be speaking with. To check them out, go to www.cleargistics.com. That is www.cleargistix.com. Stephen Toops is the president and CEO. He's a nice fellow, down to earth, and really looking to help folks out and fix their issues. That's www.cleargistics.com, CLEARGISTIX.com, and they'll get you sorted out. CNOOC plans for North Sea exit and 5.5 billion Shanghai listing. China's biggest offshore producer is preparing to exit one of the North Sea's largest fields in strategic shift of focus to a newer oil and gas development, and also plans to raise about 35 billion yen, so 5.5 billion next month. CNOOC has hired Bank of America to start preparing a formal sale of its North Sea assets, which could raise more than $3 billion. Well, they picked the right time to sell. If they get the sale to go through, I'd be surprised if they could find a suitor in the market right now. It's a bit unpredictable. Actually, it's unpredictable almost all the time. But if they're working it off the futures forecast, then they may be waiting a while. But that's what Bank of America's job is, to find them a buyer. I'd like 1% of that, so that's like 30 million or so. Yeah, I could make do with that for sure. Next up, we have Ocyan awarded a decommissioning contract with Petrobras. So Ocyan signed a contract with Petrobras for the removal of flexible and umbilical ducts from the Rio de Janeiro, Rio de Ostras, and Paranema FPSOs located in the Campos and Sergipe. I'm always going to get this wrong every single time. Sergipe and Alagos basins. The contract requires the acquisition of engineering, preparation, removal, and disposal. That's EPRD/engineering, preparation, removal, and disposal services for the decommissioning of the subsea systems belonging to the 3 production units. That's approximately 270 kilometers of pipeline that needs to be removed, and they are located between 800 and 1,700 meters of water depth. The duration of work is expected to be 2.5 years. So now on to our oil prices. Yeah. So, as of Friday, April 1, WTI was at $99.36 per barrel. That is a $13 a barrel. Seems to be low. Yeah, that's lower than our last weekly rundown. Brent was at $105.59 per barrel. That's also $13 lower than announced on our last show. And natural gas was hanging in there as $5.72 per 1 million BTU. This is 15 cents higher than last week. Our oil prices are sponsored by International Association of Well Control Instructors. They are a 501c nonprofit educational association. Its main mission is to strengthen the future with every class, every time, everywhere. You can head over to www.iawci.org. That is www.iawci.org, and learn more about them. It's time for our rig counts. For the North American rig count, the United States was up 3 rigs to a total of 673, while Canada was down 16 to 124 working rigs total. The international rig count also came out April 1. It was up 2 rigs overall to a count of 815. The biggest change was a 24 rig drop in the EU. Yeah, I'm having trouble speaking today. Our rig count was sponsored by Rig Lynx Media. If you're looking to launch a brand, reach more people, or just get some additional visibility, then head over to their website at www.relynxmedia.com. That is www.relynxmedia.com. Again, top tier visibility without breaking the bank. Just as a reminder, all of this information and more can be found at www.riglynx.com, where our goal is to simply connect people. And that's it for this week's rundown. If you're interested in sponsoring the show, then drop us an email at info@riglynx.com. Have a good week wherever you are. This has been the Weekly Rundown, hosted by Greg Williams and published by riglynx.com. If you're interested in becoming a partner or sponsoring the show, then drop us an email at info@riglynx.com. That is info@riglynx.com.